Burger Boys Worldwide.
He's standing in front of the net with about 8 inches of his shaft in his hand.
And Burgers is all about them rules. Burgers are good to me and they're good to you.
And Crosby just whacked it off with his left hand.
Burger Boys Worldwide.
You're an announcer with a long stick from time to time.
And for me, the secret of burger is in the blends.
Come on, son, let's hear a band.
Not doing it, Dad.
I got my boys, I got my burgers, that's all I got. I need to hear a band.
Bam! Yo, we're back with another episode of the Burger Boys Fantasy Hockey League. Welcome back to our post-draft episode. We're a little bit later, but you know what? That gave us a little bit more time to, roll in, cruise in with more insightful information for you guys. How's it going, Yags?
Just well. How about you, buddy?
Not much. I mean, basically, been waiting to get this podcast going, but waiting on you though, bud. But I guess you've been working hard in the bush.
Yeah, working hard, buddy. I know Braden said we did extra preparation with the time. He did that. This will be my first time looking at the entire draft board.
Yeah, but at least you've soaked in your own team though, which is all that matters, right?
All that matters.
You've had a good.
The other 15 teams, whatever.
And I'll have to say, okay, my I did about an hour and a half, 2 hours before this podcast. I just actually sat down waiting for When I was waiting for Jaeger, I went over the draft. So I do have a piece of information, but I didn't take the whole week to do it. I did classic in the classic sense of last minute procrastinating. I had it in my head all week that I was like, okay, I'm going to prep for this podcast. It's actually going to be a good, insightful one from us. No, it just was a 2-hour rush job. But whatever. We're back. And it's awesome. I mean, first off, NHL hockey's back. It started yesterday morning. Friday morning, right?
Yeah.
Buffalo and New Jersey.
Buffalo and New Jersey played in Uganda or some shit.
Yeah, Prague or whatever. I seen Jaromir Jagr drop the puck.
The same thing. Did he actually? That's pretty sick.
Yeah, he dropped the puck.
Flames legend.
Calgary Flames legend Jaromir Jagr. So it's kicked off. I don't know why can't they just start the NHL season as well? I mean, I understand, starting these ones earlier, so that the teams can have a week off before they get back and, after Prague. But, I don't know. I think we should have some regular North American games going as well. Because, I mean, we did have preseason, but to have preseason games going on at the same time as NHL regular season games, it's just a little weird. It's just a little strange, and I've got an itch for NHL hockey right now. I just watched episode 1 of the NHL Face Off Amazon Prime show. Have you caught any of that yet?
I have not.
It's good. First episode was Willie Styles. Old William Nylander.
That's a headline act.
Yeah, no, that was good, man. He was actually good. I think Willie Styles is. I felt bad for Willie. I think he's. They're gonna win a round this year.
Oh, they're not just winning one round.
No, they're winning the cup.
They're winning 4.
Oh yeah.
Leafs win the cup. You heard it
winning
first.
winning 4 rounds of golf. No, I also didn't realize. I mean, not to give any spoilers, you probably knew this already, but William Nylander and David Pastrnak, they're like best buddies, man. They like grew up together.
So you know what that means.
Oh yeah, David Pastrnak's going to the league.
Pasternak's going to the league. There you go.
As we're talking about David Pastrnak and the Boston Bruins, Jeremy Swayman's situation has just got a little hot and heavy since the last time we talked.
Yeah, they have not resolved it yet.
Yeah, straight up, like, I don't know, man.
It's getting spicy too. Numbers are getting leaked.
Yeah, Cam Neely's leaking like I don't know what he's thinking doing that. I think in no way that was not. So basically, for those that don't know, Cam Neely was at a press conference, and the reporters were asking him things and reasons why things were stalled, and Cam Neely says something along the lines of, I can provide 64 million reasons why he should be here at training camp. So that's an 8x8 contract.
I mean, it could also be a 16x4.
It's true. But anyways, I guess, and then go ahead.
I would say, or a 64x1.
Yeah.
I think that's over the maximum player salary for
I think
1 year.
16 is too,
But you never
still,
know.
isn't it?
But it's 6. It might be 17.
17 now? Because that's like McDavid's
We
getting
don't know.
that.
We don't know because no player ever takes it for some reason.
Well, it goes up every year, though. McDavid will take it. McDavid will get it. He might take 15.
He deserves whatever he'll get,
Yeah.
and probably more.
Yeah. Anyways, we were talking about that Swayman situation. I had one more kind of thought. Oh, I guess after that whole Cam Neely's the president of hockey operations for the Boston Bruins, if you didn't know. But so a pretty big deal in Boston Bruins, just throwing out the contract negotiations right out in the air, so that the Swayman's agent then came and kind of tweeted or whatever, was like, that $64 million contract was never on the table. Like, we've never seen that offered to us yet. Basically, the contract was like $2 million shy. It was like a 7.9 whatever. Or no, I think it was like 7.8 by 8 or something. But anyways,
7.8 a year, I think.
yeah. So Cam Neely should also have the numbers corrected. It's just kind of getting messy. At the end of the day, I think they're going to come to an agreement eventually, and then it's just getting blown out of proportion. The season hasn't even started yet. I'd start worrying about it a little bit more if it's a month into the season, 2 months into the season. Okay, now we're at the December deadline. Or what's going down here? You know.
Well, Swayman's agent is the same age as Willie Nylander's agent as well. I remember Willie took until the 11th hour to sign.
Yeah,
Could we see it happen here in Boston? You never know.
it was more like Willie Nylander wasn't the 11th hour, man. That was he was like a month late. It was like the 16th hour.
11th hour.
11th hour would be like the
11th
night before
What?
the season.
No, 11th hour would be the night before the deadline.
Oh, I don't.
Is what I was going.
Oh,
for.
okay, yeah.
The
I've seen-
16th hour past the deadline, and it wouldn't have played that season.
Yeah. With Swayman's thing, what do you like? What's your thoughts on Swayman? I mean, he looked great. He looks great. Last 2 seasons, very not minimal, but half a season each season basically. And and he's kind of commanding a lot of money here. The eye test shows that he's worth the money, but obviously, if you look at comparables and stuff around the league, it's hard to just fork out all that money in all that term for a guy that hasn't played a full season as a starter. I don't know. What's your opinion?
Boston really fucked up.
Yeah,
they traded Ullmark before they got a Swayman deal done. That's really where they messed it up.
Yeah,
because once you trade Ullmark, you're suggesting Swayman's the guy, and you don't have a contract in place with him. Of course, he's going to go and try and get the most out of it as he can. Like, this Boston is currently prepared to go into their season with Jonas Korpisalo as their number one goaltender.
Yeah.
And shout out Brandon Bussey. I think he might be the back. No, they picked up that
JJ or
waivers.
From Canucks. Canucks third string. Well, actually fourth string now. Peterka.
Zero string now.
Yeah. Well, he's Patera. Yeah, he's Boston. But I feel like that Bussey guy, he had a good game today in preseason. Like I think that Patera guy, he might be going on waivers again and probably going back to Abbotsford.
Yeah. See, it's dragging, I think.
It's dragging, and it feels like it's dragging. But like I said, don't stop worrying until the season starts, because we've seen it before with Jason Robertson. But this has also got this spicy.
Technically, the season has started already.
That's true. I mean, first game. I mean, we got a whole week still, right? Like, what are we? We get Friday, next Friday, or the 8th? Whatever day is the 8th. So we're 3 days away. Yeah, I understand. So, I mean, I'll say they have till the 8th before you can start worrying. I mean, I love it for the Boston. I'm not a big Boston guy, so I love it. Swayman's really sticking to his guns here. You gotta love a guy who's wanting to get paid, get that bag as well, right? It's not fun for when you're a fan and you want to see your team win the cup, but you'd like your guys to take a team-friendly deal. But I mean, he's got to chase after that bag, protect his future. You know, he's proved it. But I'm okay with giving an 8x8. I mean, he's a young goaltender, and he's shown that he's good. But yeah. Other news around the league.
Just got some hot insider info.
What's that?
Is apparently Jeremy Swayman might be headed to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Nick Robertson in a 4th-round pick.
Oh yeah. That makes sense.
Finalized yet, but it makes sense for both sides.
Okay, yeah. No, that honestly, I mean, Nick Robertson, he'll score like 50, right? So it's kind of sucks to see him go from the Leafs, but I mean, you get Swayman in there to mentor Joseph Woll, and yeah,
back up Joseph Woll.
Oh, and I heard he's taking
Vezina winner.
I heard Swayman's also taking a team-friendly deal there as well. Like, he's scrapped that 8x8. He's taking a 4x8 now.
He's taking a 2x4. Get a nice piece of wood in there.
What else has been going down this preseason? Oh, the injuries. Man, you got the injury list. There's an injury list out there of all these preseason injuries. Like it's like we're getting into some NFL style injuries, like Brady Tkachuk,
Macklin Celebrini, Drew Doughty,
Patrick Laine. Yeah, the list is long of all these injuries happening in the preseason. What are your thoughts? I'm all for wanting your guys to be ready from the get-go, but yeah, no, it's for veterans like that to. You got guys trying to make teams in the preseason. We got young guys like trying to show what they got. So they're going to be taking runs. They're going to be hitting guys. Like it's going to be pretty physical.
Yeah. And there's the rules or whatever where for your preseason roster, you have to ice a certain amount of veterans.
Yeah.
Like guys who've played in the NHL before. That's a dumbass rule.
Yeah.
Like it should be completely up to the coaches whether they want to play NHL guys or not.
Yeah.
Or up to the coaches, the players or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, what is Drew Doughty doing in a preseason game?
Exactly.
Just an example. He's the most veteran guy. Like I get Macklin Celebrini being in a preseason game. He's 18 years old, first overall pick. Get him some reps.
You gotta get your
some of
fans
these veteran
excited
guys
too,
doing.
right?
Yeah. More so just getting him out on the ice in the sweater there. Get used to the sweater.
Yeah. You want
But,
your guys to have their legs under them for sure. I don't think six preseason games is a lot. Like
It does seem like a little much.
this whole preseason, like I've actually, to be honest with you, I've actually sat down and watched 3 preseason games now because I've
I
got
haven't watched a minute.
I've got this itch for it. I don't know why. I'm just got an itch for hockey right now. We did our draft. I mean, I did a good draft, so maybe that's why. We'll get into that later. But yeah, no injuries in the preseason. Hopefully Patrick Laine and Drew Doughty, they seem like they're pretty long-term injuries.
Willie Nylander too. How's he doing?
Did he get injured?
Yeah, he got tripped up and he went down.
Oh yeah,
Nick
old Nick Robertson. He did like that slingshot play that they do where they kind of like try to push a guy to get him to get faster or whatever.
Go faster.
Yeah, I don't know why Nick Robertson's out there slingshot and Willie Nylander in a preseason hockey game, but he's. Here's the theory.
He knocked him over.
Here's the theory. He got Willie Nylander injured, so he gets PP one time.
Oh, there we go.
Which he's going to score 50 this year anyways.
Well, if he isn't traded to the Bruins.
Yeah. I mean, he will be traded to the Bruins. Who'd you get that report from? Our insider Gator?
Yeah, so take it with a grain of salt, like most of Gator's insider information.
Like, what's that other one that he said? Swayman to Ottawa for Allmark?
No, they're gonna trade Swayman to Ottawa to play with Allmark.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Other than that, for NHL news, can't really think of much off the top of my head. It's just been clouded by that Swayman shit.
The Swayman storyline has definitely taken most of the press.
Yeah, but there'll be some. Yeah, I don't know. It was good to see. It kind of sucked that they had the games on. I watched a little bit this morning of the one this morning, but like on Friday it was on while I was working, so it was like shit. But whatever. It's nice to see NHL hockey's back. Okay, you want to do the draft review or what?
Might as well.
Okay, so we're gonna go over each team. Gonna give kind of a gem, a good pick. We're gonna give a bad pick, like a bust that we feel is gonna be there, and then we'll throw in a sleeper if we got one. We could talk a little bit more of the teams, but basically that's the guideline that we're gonna be rolling with. We'll be just picking one because we want to go to bed tonight, right? So. If we're sitting here, we've done it before in our post-draft episodes where we've sat there and listed off the whole draft board, which could,
Every player, every team.
yeah, and we still got to go over matchups this week too. So we want to get this kind of good pick, bad pick, sleeper, and ready. We're done. We got 16 teams, so yeah, we gotta push through this. So Jaeger, we'll start with your team, buddy. I picked as your gem. I picked actually Matt Boldy. I think he's at this prime range here to kind of excel even further than he has. I think he got 69 points last year. The year before that, he had about, I think,
Nice.
60. He's a fourth round. You got him in the fourth round, and I think he's just every year there's these superstar kind of players that are like he's young too, and he's just showing every year that he's in this league that he's going to get better and better. And I think this one, he goes from 69 points to probably an 85 to a 90 point. And he's going to be there with Kaprizov as, Wilds. They're going to try to be competitive this year, right? So do they make the playoffs? Maybe, but it would be on the hands of Kaprizov and Matt Boldy leading the charge there. For your bust, it was hard to actually find a bust on your team, but I settled with actually Mark Stone. I know you got him in the 8th. Mark Stone is just going to end up on your IR sooner rather than later, and you're going to be
aware of that.
He's going to be on your IR at some point during the season. Definitely when the playoffs and everything happens. So around, what is it? Usually like March 20th or February 20th, around that time frame. He'll go on IR just in time for you. You're wanting to either ramp up to make the playoffs, or you're in the playoffs. Like you want, and you've liked what you've seen out of Mark Stone in this situation. You're like, yes, Mark Stone's awesome. This is awesome. I've had Mark Stone on my team, so I know exactly what's going on here. And then the IR hits, and then all you see is reports. Oh, Mark Stone might be coming back before the playoffs. Oh, he might this, he might that, but no, he just ends up coming back. First round of the playoffs. First game in the first round of the playoffs. So that's my bust.
I'm well aware of this. I will, since it's my bust, I will have to defend this pick. I know he's going to, right around the NHL's trade line, he will be unusable from around there to the end of the season.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a placeholder. I was kind of weak at right wing.
Yeah.
I wanted to add a little bit more to that, so I'm like, I'll use Mark Stone as a placeholder. He'll do well while I figure out what to do with that position down the stretch, and hopefully by the time I figured that out before he goes on to LTIR. But it's just kind of a placeholder until I figure out my long-term solution.
Yeah. I guess. Anyways, Mark Stone is my bust. Okay, sleeper from your team, Yags. I got Ivan Fedotov. I grabbed him as a sleeper. He's an 11th round pick. You took a nice flyer on him, no pun intended, as he is a Philadelphia Flyer. He might just end up being the starter there. He'll obviously split some time with Erson, but if he can take the bull by the horns and take that job and make it more of a 60-40 split from Erson, I think you got a good goaltender on your hand. He showed up in the season, late in the season last year in Philadelphia's quest for the playoffs. He looked all right at times. I think he only played a couple games, a handful, like 5 or so. But I think that was just kind of, he had dealt with a lot coming from Russia to North America. And I think now that he's starting the season, he's going to have his legs under him. And I think he'll surprise. And, I don't know. That's my sleeper pick. Yegs, I guess you would go for your gem.
I guess I'll do my own.
Yeah.
My own pick for my own team. My gem. I'm gonna go. Mika Zibanejad. This is a guy I liked. He was a staple on Aho's teams, is cup winning team or championship winning teams. Does a little bit of everything. Top line center on a cup contending team. Got him good. I think he's gonna be high impact. And now that he's over on my side. My bust, Aaron Ekblad. Easy. I don't know why I did this pick.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wanted to add another defenseman. And I'm like, Aaron Ekblad. But he's very injury prone. I don't know why I did it. I just like the name, I guess. He has a lot of potential when he's healthy, but he never is. Sleeper, and then you go Cutter Gauthier. He's got a lot to prove, man. He forced a trade out of Philly. He's got to come out guns blazing, I think. And he's a physical guy, so I think he'll hit as well, which adds to the points. And I think should be a pretty good impact player right away. That'll be my sleeper. It's tough for a sleeper for my team. I picked pretty early.
Yeah, and I kind of noticed that as well. One thing I just want to mention is you mentioned Mika Zibanejad being a staple on Aho's teams for years. Also, Sebastian Aho, who you as well picked, who was also a staple on Aho Let's Go's team for years. 2 championships, obviously. So you clearly are trying to replicate a dangerous path here. Will I say you're going after Aho Let's Go's sloppy seconds here?
Say, I woke up that morning feeling pretty dangerous.
Shit, I don't have that soundbite in this one.
You don't have Sean Avery talking about Dion for those sloppy seconds?
No, I gotta remember. You're gonna send me a bunch of sound bites, and then I just never. You never did.
I never sent them.
No, you never.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, no, that's. Other than that, I mean, what's that? Go ahead.
I said I pretty much picked Sebastian Aho in the second round because remember when Gator said I'm gonna pick Sebastian Aho in the second round?
Yeah,
and I think I picked before him.
Yeah,
so I'm just gonna.
It was safe to say that Aho Let's Go was not getting Sebastian Aho. Because I think I would have ended up taking Sebastian Aho if I wouldn't have. I had a set. Okay, anyways, Mitchie Marnie's Millions. Marner's Millions. I'm not gonna lie, there was a little bit on this roster I didn't really like too much. One thing I want to say. I did have for my bust. I'll go with my bust first. I did originally have my bust as actually Mitchell Marner. Only reason why I had him there was because he kept him when he had the second overall pick. So listen to me here. So he had Noah Hannafin, whom he could have kept for a 10th round pick, but instead he drafted him with a 7th round pick this year, and he kept Mitchell Marner. So if he really wanted Hannafin, he could have kept Hannafin with a 10th round pick, and drafted Mitchell Marner with the second overall pick, and he would have saved 3 rounds of draft capital on Noah Hannafin. I don't think Noah Hannafin's that great of a fantasy guy. I've had him before, but I'm just as an example, he could have had a better options than just keeping Mitchell Marner with the second overall pick. I'm not saying Marner didn't warrant it. I'm just saying that would have been my bust, but I actually went with Kochkatov. I just wanted to mention that for people's mindset. It's just the way I like to run my draft. I mean, you can run it any way you want. I don't give a shit. But I think you can kind of agree with me, Eggs, a little bit on the Mitchell Marner keeper front. A little bit.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
Yeah. Because you would have, if you really wanted Marner, you could have just just drafted him second overall because there is no way in hell Yags was drafting Drysdale. Wasn't drafting Drysdale first.
Or drafting anybody but
Mitchell Marner. But William Nylander is a little bit more enticing than Mitchell Marner these days too, right? Okay, so
Mitchie Marnie, so
Kochkatov, drafted in the 6th round pick. That's my bust. And he's a young goaltender. I just thought there was he's still fighting a spot with Frederick Anderson. It's going to be a 40 split. I just don't think your value's there with a 6th round pick. There was other goaltenders with more of starting implications available at the time. Yes, he's a young goaltender, but we've seen bits and pieces of Kochkatov. Nothing's really blown me away with him. I might that's what we do this podcast for. We like to have spicy takes on this. I might just eat crow on this. Maybe he becomes a starter at some point, but I'm putting him as my bust. My gem for him is Hyman. He's just going to be sick again. He's going to score a lot of fantasy points. You just drafted him in the 2nd round, and that's exactly where you want Hyman. So that was a good pick. Sleeper, I really like this JJ Peterka from Buffalo. You drafted him in the 11th round. He's got Buffalo's looking to make a step forward. I know they're actually starting the season 0-2 now, unfortunately, but I kind of got to go with a guy that I was kind of a little bit high on. He had a great season last year. And I think Buffalo's ready to take a step, but we say that every year. But that's my sleeper. Go ahead, Yags.
Well, I'm going to start with bust as well, and I'm going to go controversial here. I'm picking Steven Stamkos as my bust.
Yep.
You know, he's coming over from a more offensive culture in Tampa Bay to a more defensive culture in Nashville, sorry. You know, there's potential to slow start, joining a new team, new system, new everything. And he hasn't been great 5-on-5. And Nashville's power play, sure, it gets better with Steven Stamkos, but it's not going to be as good as Tampa Bay's was.
Yeah,
I think there's just too much risk with this pick. I know everybody's all gung-ho about Stamkos in Nashville. I'm not buying it. Stamkos, my bust pick. My sleeper pick, I'm going Shane Gostisbehere, defenseman, Carolina. I think if he works his way into getting some good power play minutes in Carolina, he's shown before he can be really good offensively. The defense, a little suspect, but if he gets going and he starts racking up points in that power play, a late round defenseman, I don't think he sets the world on fire, but I think he goes into one of those defensemen where it's like you can't drop him, keep him. He puts up enough points to keep his worth or whatever. Brings the value for a late round defenseman. I like Shane Gostisbehere as a sleeper. My good pick, my gem, I really like Adrian Kempe. Dual forward eligibility, center, right wing. I notice there's a lot of struggle at right wing. There's not a lot of great guys listed as right wing. Adrian Kempe, 30, 40 goal scorer. I think that was a great pick. And
yeah,
see how he does.
I think we both had very similar ideas like on bust, because like Stamkos was one of my candidate for a bust pick as well, and actually Gostisbehere was one of my kind of looks for a sleeper as well when we went over Marner's team. Good and bad out of Marner's. One thing, now that you just mentioned the whole right wing thing, Marner's did kind of what I also did as well, and Marner's stacked up on right wings. He's got Jordan Kyrou, Jesper Bratt, Adrian Kemp, Zach Hyman, and Mitchell Marner. Right wings people are going to struggle to find right wings and stream right wings. So that's huge. All right. For my team, my bus pick, Evander Kane, auto drafted with my last pick of the draft. I had lots of plans for that pick, and Evander Kane got auto drafted to my team. Obviously, I just chucked him on the IR. Hopefully, I'll trade him to an Oilers fan when he's healthy. If not, I'm probably just going to end up dropping him if I need the IR space. Not a big Evander Kane guy, and I don't think he's going to be that great when he comes back. Because, my sleeper pick, I'm going Lawson Krause. He's not from Utah. Left wing, right wing eligibility. Doesn't have that sexy name that you hear, superstar, guy. But I got him in the 8th round. This guy is a banger. We play in a bangers league, which, I mean, when I say the word bangers league, it means like hits, block shots, plus like face-offs, all that stuff counts as points. And Lawson Krause is that kind of guy where he hits, blocks shots, scores points. So that's my sleeper pick. 8th round pick. He's always been good for fantasy, but he just doesn't have that sexy name. And I made sure that I grabbed him because of that left wing, right wing eligibility. And I really like this is a late round pick. This is my late round pick too, because I had so much high picks that like an 8th round pick was my late. So I took a run on a guy that I liked. I might have taken him a little bit earlier, but he's always never not been on a roster in fantasy, and he's loved for sure for whoever owns him. For my gem, I could have picked anyone here. I love my team so much, but I'm gonna go with newly appointed captain Clayton Keller. I think he's going to Utah. It's her inaugural season. I honestly think that Utah might have a chance of making the playoffs. I think they're actually going to be a good team. They got a good nucleus there. And I think this is the time that this core steps up. And Clayton Keller has been an unreal force for them this whole time. Gets awarded the captaincy. I got him in the 3rd round or the 2nd round. I don't know. I forget. 3rd round. And he's just a great player, and I'd love to see him get at the captaincy, and he's going to be my gem this year. I'm going to just love having him on my roster. Go ahead.
All right, for your gem, I'm going to go Lucas Raymond. This was a guy, you picked him 46th overall. I had picks 48 and 49.
Yeah.
I had Lucas Raymond, like, I had him lined up for one of those 2 picks. I'm like, I'm getting him there.
Yeah.
And I see you take him 2 picks before me. Like,
that's
one of those picks, like, oh, come on, man. Like, that.
What's funny?
That's why I'm picking this as my gem, is because when I see a pick that pisses me off that somebody else took it before me.
Yeah.
Like, that I think he's gonna have a great year. That's an easy gem, I think. Bust, you're gonna hate to hear this. Thatcher Demko.
Yeah.
Just with all the injury stuff.
Yeah.
It just screams landmine to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's shorter than expected, but like it just screams landmine with the injury issues with him. I know when he's playing, he's great. But how much playing are you getting at him this year? And then sleeper, Brant Clark. I think, especially with the Doughty news, the Doughty injury, Brant Clark will get some good playing time, and I think he'll be great for you.
Yeah, cool. So Thatcher Demko is obviously an easy bust pick because of all this injury news. If you were with us on the live draft, he was just sitting there.
I was not.
You weren't, but Demko was just sitting there, and I was like, like just looking at him. I had so many picks. I already had Igor Shesterkin. as a keeper. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna grab Demko because he's sitting right there, and I can just chuck him on the IR. And if he does come back, that could be the defining moment of me winning a championship, or you know what I mean. If he can come back and return to form, and I'm just gonna have him as kind of a poker chip there, sitting in my IR. And if everything, maybe in a whole world where everything was looking good, and I could start him. My goal was to draft Arthur Shelovs later, but he got snatched away from me. I'll talk about that later when we come up to him. But that was my whole goal. Didn't work out. I did end up getting Logan Thompson who's looking to be an all-right starter for Washington. I also got Kevin Lankinen, picked him up right away for the backup for Canucks. I feel like Lankinen and Shelovs might be doing a 50-50 split for the first until Demko's back. For some reason, I got a notification for Demko. Apparently, he's day-to-day now instead of out. So I don't know. Like I didn't hear anything, but Yahoo was just playing with my heart this morning when I seen that notification. Right on. Oh, and that Lucas Raymond, when you're saying when I picked him before you, it's funny because I remember like having to scroll down. Like I was targeting Lucas Raymond, and I had to scroll down a fair way. Not a fair way, but like a way, just to find his name. And I was like, oh, is this too early? And then I was like looking, I was like, no, I'm taking Lucas Raymond here because I think he's going to be a stud this year. 100%.
Yeah, no, you were definitely not too early.
Yeah.
Because if you waited 2 picks,
exactly,
you were going to see me take him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
definitely that early round, it was like a battle between me, you, Andre, and like keepers and dirty dancers because we had all the picks. It was just me, and it was like the 5 of us just going back and forward. We're like, fuck, who's he? Ooh. And then like you mixed in a couple guys that were like, oh, we're just here to have fun. We were just like slaying.
It's bad for me to admit, but I was like working while I was doing this draft.
Yeah.
So I had the notifications set, so like I have to like pull up my phone, quickly scroll, pick.
Yeah.
The 1 minute timer kind of screwed me this year.
Dude, that 1 minute timer sucked. I think I was talking about it. It was kind of nice because it was like rapid fire. The draft was done fairly fast, but I think maybe go like a 120 or a 115 even, like, because like
yeah, because I'd have to like open up my jacket pocket. I'm wearing a million layers because it's like -10 in fucking Zama City.
Yeah.
To get to my phone and like make my pick. I'm like, shit, who do I pick?
Yeah. Well, and like
so we'll look at increasing the time next year. The
thing that I thought was really annoying was how Yahoo, like, it's like, oh, this is so and so until your next pick, and then I had 2 picks or whatever, and I thought that it was gonna be. I was like sitting on my pick when I auto drafted Evander Kane, and I didn't realize I was picking because I thought it was a keeper pick, because I was always adding up my keepers in my head. I was like, okay, this next one's a keeper, so don't, like, I'm not picking there. Like, I can't look at where I can pick guys there. So it just got really annoying with Yahoo how they do it, but whatever. Draft's done. I got Evander Kane on my freaking roster.
I forgot the name Evander Kane as my sleeper for your team.
I thought for sure you were gonna name Evander Kane as your sleeper, as my sleeper.
I thought about that. I forgot about it. Let's move on to the next.
Yeah, Flyhammer. So the new guy, Uncle Ronnie. I'm gonna go easy on a gem. Brady Tkachuk, his first inaugural pick in his draft. He was lucky to get Brady Tkachuk here. Like I said again, this is a bangers league. Hits, block shots. Brady Tkachuk is absolutely that with the scoring ability, and he's just a fantasy hockey darling. And to get Brady Tkachuk there, actually drafted before his brother Matthew Tkachuk in our draft, and I fully stand by that Brady Tkachuk in our fantasy hockey league worth more than his brother Matthew, and I like this pick for Flyhammer. It's a good first overall pick in his inaugural season. My bust, I actually picked the team, the Bruins, Boston Bruins. He picked two guys fairly high, Brad Marchand and Jeremy Swayman, both third, fourth round. Obviously, the Jeremy Swayman information thing, we don't know. I think very high pick for where that is right now. I thought he would drop a little bit more, to be honest. But I mean, if Swayman, if they can work out a contract, then he's got Swayman. Like, that's awesome, cool. I just basically for my bust, I just wrote Bruins ? Marchie, he's getting older out there. He's still going to be good. Is he worth the fourth round? Maybe. I probably will be. But yeah, I just got a couple question marks about the Bruins there, and him picking those two guys high is basically my bust. And then my sleeper, I like old Connor Ingram of the Utah as a goaltender. He's played great for the Arizona Coyotes last year. I had him on my roster. I actually ended up selling him at the deadline, and Larry Love enjoyed having him for the rest of the season. So grabbing Ingram at the 9th there, he's a great guy, and he's a great player, and that'll be great goaltender to have throughout the season. And yeah, that's my picks for Flyhammer.
Well, I'm gonna go bust first. I mean, I hate to pick the same guy as you, but it's Jeremy Swayman.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on there. We don't know when he's gonna play.
Yeah.
I'm taking the low hanging fruit.
It's not like he's at a good keeper value or anything, right? Like if he had a good keeper value, then yeah, take the chance. But yeah.
And then I'm going to go sleeper. I'm going to go to his 18th round pick, Oliver Bjorkstrand.
Yeah.
A guy who's shown some good goal scoring ability before. Seattle should be better than they were last year. Could provide some sneaky value as a goal scorer. Not gonna set the world on fire, but 30 goals isn't out of the question for Bjorkstrand. So 18th round, 30 goal scorer potentially. Right winger, like we said. I like that. And my gem, I'm going Elias Pettersson. Believe it or not. I think he's getting overhated because of the whole playoffs thing. Pettersson's an incredible player. Absolute stud, like 100-point guy, no problem. The guy's an absolute weapon. Second round, you mean you're going to get a weapon. But I think Pettersson's a great player. His best might still be yet to come, I think.
And they surrounded him with talent this year as well. They gave him DeBrusk. They got him DeBrusk. They got him Daniel Sprong. Guys are ready to step up in the lineup. Like guys that will finish past. Like people got to realize Pettersson was playing with Sam Lafferty and who is the other? Nils Hoglander, Nils Hoglander is like sick, but he's also got hands of stone sometimes. Like I just can't bury him. So those two guys and Sam Lafferty just like couldn't buy a goal. Like, you know what I mean? Those aren't guys you want to surround your superstar with. So this year they go out and they get Jake DeBrusk and then Daniel Sprong. I know I say Daniel Sprong like they got a league minimum guy. The guy still pots in 20 goals. With the Detroit Red Wings last year. They got him on a bargain deal contract. So, yes, I do like your Pettersson take. I could have had Pettersson I chose to go a defenseman, and I wish, I just in my head, I was like, I'm probably surprising a lot of people by not taking Pettersson here, but for the value of my team, I needed to go a different way. But I'll be probably wishing I had taken him. I did get Roman Josi though, so I mean, Roman Josi, Pettersson, it's tough.
Josi ain't so bad.
No. Next team, the other new guy, Sean -1. The Gem. I'm going with Dylan Guenther for the Utah. What are they called? The Utah hockey teams.
Utah Hockey Club.
Yeah, the Utah's. What do you want to call them? The Super Soakers.
Just Soakers.
Oh yeah, the Utah Soakers.
Did we already explain soaking?
I don't think so. Was Utah even a thing when we had the podcast last year?
Well, it was potentially a thing. So anyways, soaking is an old Mormon tradition. You guys know it's super religious. You can't fuck before marriage. So what they do, this doesn't count as sex, is you just stick the bird in the pussy there, and then you just let it soak. You don't pump, you don't do nothing. You let her soak, and that's soaking. That's big in the Mormon community, apparently.
And the Mormons,
based on the
Utah has a massive amount of Mormon people.
Yeah, based on the research I've done, that soaking is big in the Mormon community. So it makes sense to call them the Utah Soakers.
Yeah. Great piece of analysis there.
Where do we go from here?
Great piece of analysis.
That's what people listen for.
Anyways, my gem, Dylan Guenther from the Utah Soakers. I love Dylan Guenther. He could have been a Canuck, but Jim Benning wanted Oliver Ekman-Larsson instead. So, yeah, we didn't get Dylan Guenther. I think he's ready to become a star in this league. And a 7th round pick, I believe he is. Yes, the 7th round pick. I think -1 has got a good player on his hands here for his first year in this league. Nice right winger. One thing I haven't mentioned with the 16 teams is in the past it was you have your mind set, on a 14-team league, this guy was taken too soon, this guy's taken too late. But now you got to think about bumping those numbers up a bit. So a 7th round pick for a young blooming star like Dylan Guenther, I think is a very good pick to have in the pocket. My bust, you're gonna hate this one. I'm probably gonna eat crow, but I'm going Jeff Skinner, 5th round pick. I don't think he should have been a 5th round pick. The fantasy implications could be endless, or it could be just a bust. But you know what? He's probably gonna score 40 goals, 40 tugs, and and things are gonna be hunky dory for old Jeffy skin dog over there. But also, in what world was Jeff Skinner a 5th round pick? Is why I have to go bust. Happy to eat crow on this later, but I also want to be the one to label this one a bust if it doesn't work out. So, sleeper, I'm going to go all the way down to his 15th round pick. Mason McTavish, I think he's ready to take a step up. I understand that Cutter Gauthier is there. Leo Carlson's there. I think Anaheim as a whole is going to do a lot better. And it'd be nice. And Mason McTavish, he's kind of got this leadership kind of role as a young man. He's going to be kind of taking that big step up in the Anaheim room there. And if Mason McTavish can advance, a 15th round pick will look good. The one thing though is that there's a lot of centers in that room in Anaheim, so it's tough to pick the one. You would have to think Trevor Zegras would get traded or something, right? If anyone wants him, I think he's still available in the league. Anyways, go ahead.
Did he not get drafted?
I don't think he got drafted. I think he's just sitting there.
Well, I'm gonna go bust first because it's the first player on the list. I'm gonna go Charlie McAvoy from the Boston Bruins. Nothing against Charlie McAvoy as a player. He's a great player, but based on where you draft him, based on what he's done, he's never really produced that big fantasy season. Like, he's a great defender, but like he doesn't produce those numbers that you want out of a guy that you pick that early on the blue line. And for that, Charlie McAvoy is my bust. My gem, I'm going Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett fits that Florida system like a glove. He's a guy he scores a good amount of points, scores a great amount of peripheral stats like the hits, the shots, the blocks, all that. So Sam Bennett's my gem, 8th round guy. He does a little bit of everything, so I like that pick there. My sleeper is the same as your sleeper, Mason McTavish. I'm surprised he went that late.
Yeah.
He could have a big year as a sleeper.
Yeah, I sort of agree with you on the whole Charlie McAvoy thing. I think he got taken in the 3rd round mostly because of his name. But the guy kind of his season ranks in the last 2 years are 181 and 116. Those aren't numbers that I'd want to be taking. 116 is good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, and he's a good hockey player. But like you said, it's kind of like the whole Quinn Hughes thing. Before last year, the only reason why Quinn Hughes was great last year for fantasy was because he was putting up the points. But for fantasy numbers in a banger league, like some of these defensemen, they do great on the eye test, but on the fantasy aspect, it's kind of strange how that works. It's not as fruitful, but yeah. Next one. Let's go Dirty Dancers. I'm probably going to take your gem here. I'm going Matvei Michkov, 6th round pick. Did I take your gem? Yeah, no, I wanted Matt Michkov. I just didn't have the pick to take Michkov, and he went a little... no, he went probably where I thought he was going to go. Michkov's sick. There was a time when Bedard and Michkov were both getting drafted. Bedard obviously clearly number 1, but Michkov was also this Jack Eichel to Connor McDavid in that draft sense. But the thing around Michkov was the whole Russian implications of his contract. He got out of the contract. Now he is in Philadelphia, and he's looking like their best player in preseason. The guy's going to be a weapon, and he's just going to be the next big Russian machine in the NHL, and it's going to be awesome. And Dirty Dancers has him for a 6th round pick. Next year, 5th round pick the year after that, 4th round pick the year after that, 3rd round pick, and so on and so forth. And this guy's going to produce. Gem all the way. Matvei Michkov. It's going to start this season. 100%. Bust. I'm going Erik Karlsson, 4th round pick. Erik Karlsson's days are numbered. He produced insane numbers for the San Jose Sharks when they were shitty like 2 years ago. Got traded to Kyle Dubas's Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm not liking Pittsburgh Penguins this year at all. I think Erik Karlsson, I just don't like him at that 4th round pick area. As for sleepers, this one's going to be kind of strange, but I think it'll eventually be a nice sleeper, is Askarov. Askarov is going to, he got cut today, sent to the AHL, but that's only because he's been injured in the preseason. Askarov has wicked AHL numbers. Every time he's come up to the NHL, which I think is 2 starts, he's been awesome in. This guy is going to see some NHL time eventually this season. He might spend a week in the AHL before he's come back up. He plays for San Jose, lots of shots against. Even if he plays only 40 games, he might be too good that they have to keep playing this guy. Because I know San Jose they kind of want to start to surround their young guys with a winning kind of culture, and I think Askarov's their best guy in that goaltender room, and I think it's going to show. But he could also be a bust. He could also easily be just the same as a bust, especially at that 7th round ticker. But it's a flyer that I would be willing to take for Dirty Dancers. Go ahead.
So I'm going to start with the bust. I'm going Willie Nylander.
Oh no way.
I know it. As a Leafs podcast, I hate to do it, but I just don't think he was worth the 6th overall pick. I think there are better players picked after him. A handful of better players picked after him. I don't know if he returns the 6th overall pick value. So I'm going with Willie. Willie Styles is my bust. My gem, Braden alluded to it, Matvei Michkov. This is the ultimate piss me off pick of the entire draft. Because I looked at Michkov like right before he went. And I'm like, I'll wait one more round. I clearly should have not waited one more round. And now I don't have Matvei Michkov. So I'm going with that as Jackson's gem. Sleeper. I'm going Brock Nelson. Not a sexy pick, a very unsexy pick, but like a center that does a bit of everything. He's very likely to be one of those guys. Like he's been it before, where it's like, how is he top 60, top 80 in points?
Yeah.
In fantasy points. And it's like, well, he's doing a bit of everything. And I think, late round pick, that's a good pick. Good sleeper.
I like that.
One of those, it's not a sexy pick, but it could be a good pick just based on how he does this year.
Yeah, you're totally right. 2022, he was ranked 48, and 2023 ranked 61. That's an actually unreal sleeper pick. Like Brock Nelson, like you said, not a sexy name, but this guy, you know what? He's 36 goals scored, 34 goals scored. Brock Nelson is probably one of the most underrated guys in this league. I'm looking at his picture right now. He looks like he's about 45 years old, drinks PBR. He's got white hair. Like, I don't even know how old he is. It doesn't even say how old he is in this, but like, Brock Nelson is that's a good one. Yeah, cool. No, for sure. Could move along. Next one, we got keeper hardly know her. My gem, Jake DeBrusk. He's going to be playing fiddle to Elias Pettersson this year. And they've showed great in preseason hockey so far together, and Jake DeBrusk has looked great. And the thing with Jake DeBrusk is, he's got a guy that could pass to him. Boston never really had center depth after Bergeron and Krejci had left, and Pettersson. And even if he's not just with Pettersson, he can easily be with JT Miller as well, and he can perform. He's kind of a guy that can go on any line. Look, I want to comparable, probably not to the same extent, because I want to compare him to Zach Hyman when Zach Hyman got signed to the Edmonton Oilers by, what's that contract at? Like $5 million, 7 years or whatever, 5.5, $7 million, 7 years.
5.5.
Yeah, I'm comparing Jake DeBrusk in a sense. Obviously, Hyman went to McDavid, I'm not comparing Elias Pettersson to McDavid. I'm just comparing the situation of Jake DeBrusk going, I think, also 5.5, 7 to play fiddle with Elias Pettersson, and I think it's going to have really good fantasy implications, and that's not just because I'm a Canucks fan. I fully think that that's what's going to happen. My bust, Morgan freaking Riley. I cannot believe this guy got picked in the 4th round that early again. This guy sucks for fantasy. Why is he going so early? Like, he's not even that great as a hockey player. Like, it blows my mind that Morgan Riley is going this early still. This one actually pisses me off.
Have you realized that he's on the 2025 Cup champ roster?
I don't give a shit. We're talking fantasy hockey. I'm so sick of Morgan Riley being drafted so early, and I will die on that hill. He is not worth a 4th round pick. I'm not saying he's absolutely dog shit. I'm not saying he's like the worst pick ever. I am actually kind of saying this is not a good pick. Morgan Riley in the 4th round. Maybe Morgan Riley in the 9th round. You can talk to me. But Morgan Riley, 4th round, not into it. Sleeper, Jeremy Lauzon, picked with the 10th. He had Jeremy Lauzon last year as well, I believe. Guys was sick. He was ranked 109 last year. He hits. He does not score any points, and he blocks shots. This guy is a absolute machine for defensive stats. That's a sleeper pick, and yeah.
Can I do Connor McDavid being kept with the 11th overall pick as my gem?
No.
No?
No.
Well, it's the best one I've got.
Yeah.
Well, in that sense, gem, I'm going to go Brandon Hagel. I mean, he's a great, damn near point per game guy. Tampa, great team. I like Hagel. I always liked Hagel since he went to Tampa. Bust, I'm going Victor Hedman. Same team, I know. I just talked up the Tampa Bay Lightning. But I'm talking down Victor Hedman. His defensive play has fallen off a cliff. His plus-minus will fall off a cliff as well. I'm not buying it as a top defenseman anymore. I know it's got the name, but I'm not buying the name value anymore. I'm picking Victor Hedman as my bust. As my sleeper, I'm going to go Matt Duchene. He was good last year in Dallas. Should be good again. I don't know, not too much to say. There's not a standout sleeper I like, so I'm going Matt Duchene.
I just want to get your opinion on keeper Harley Noah's team. Hopefully he's listening. Hopefully not he's listening, because I'm kind of going to talk a little bit of trash. Get high draft capital, and I see a lot of old dudes on this roster that might be on their downswing. Obviously, Matthew Tkachuk could be good. Connor McDavid, good keeper. Connor Hellebuck, he hit a home run in his first 3 picks. Victor Hedman, I mean, I maybe don't necessarily agree with you totally, but there's a couple here. Alex DeBrincat, I honestly think is an absolutely overrated player. Morgan Riley, just insanely overrated. Thomas Hertl, I do not think he's going to be great on Vegas. There's just I'm Chris Letang. I think it's. I just, for the draft capital, I would like to see a little bit more oomph. He's kept Gabriel Landeskog, and he's got Valery Nichushkin. He's got 2 guys in the Colorado Avalanche that are going to be occupying his IR spots for much of the season. Logan Stankoven.
IR for...
He's going to be sick, though.
Yeah, that's a great team.
That's like unreal. Logan Stankoven is so sick. That's unreal. 18th round keeper, was that? No, not 18th, but whatever. It was a late. Yeah. Anyways, for bows and O's, I'm gonna start with the bust. I'm gonna go Mikhail Sergachev with a 3rd round pick. Sergachev, big injury last year. Came back, he was a warrior. He came back after some pretty bad injuries. He looked all right. But you played for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay Lightning, they're cup perennial contenders forever. Life is good at Tampa Bay. You're going to a new team, new atmosphere, whole new to the league in Utah. Not saying he's going to be the worst. He's not a worst pick ever. I'm just saying this has potential to be a bust at the number 3 spot because he's going to be relied upon as like the number 1 guy there, right? In Arizona or Utah, and then with the Soakers. And I think he hasn't really had to fit that role too much yet with Victor Hedman and the solid defenseman that the Tampa Bay's always had. So that's who I'm going with my bust. Gem, I like Wyatt Johnson. He picked him in the 2nd round. Wyatt Johnson's just going to continue to soar. I believe Joe Pavelski retired. This opens up a nice opportunity for Wyatt Johnson to be that spot because he's already was there. He was already good. Now it's just going to be even better. Logan Stankoven's going to come up as well. The Dallas Stars are in a nice spot. They got young and they got old. They're switching that Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin era at the very same time as they bring in. And you got Jason Robertson, Logan Stankoven, Wyatt Johnson. You got just a great nucleus there. And I really like what Wyatt Johnson is as my gem. Sleeper, it's funny. I'm going to actually take Elias Lindholm as my sleeper. He does all the right things. Face-offs, shot blocks. He kills penalties, but he's also going to be relied upon, again, as the number 1 center in Boston. They finally have a center. He's going to have some good line mates. David Pastrnak, more specifically. Things are going to be good for Elias Lindholm. I do not, for the record, want to say that the Elias Lindholm contract was good. I just think that he's going to a team where he's got ample opportunity and he's going to have a nice couple of seasons there before a real drop-off. And it'll be good for this year, and especially in the 9th round. I also like Wolf as well. But go ahead.
I'm going to start off with a banger. I'm going to pick your gem as my bust.
Oh!
Wyatt Johnston.
Oh, wow.
I think with Wyatt Johnson, we're already predicting the upside into the ADP, into the draft position that you take him at. Like, everybody's already projecting that next step into the draft capital, like where his upside is already. His upside is that he meets that draft capital.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
You're assuming he takes a next step in the draft capital. You're already assuming he's that guy. What if he just tops out as a 25 to 30 goal guy or 20, 25-ish goal guy? Everybody's projecting his next step, 35, 40. What if that doesn't happen? That's why I'm going Wyatt Johnson as my bust. I mean, Andre has a lot of great picks. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
But I think that one was it's jumping the gun. It's not so much that he picked him, it's just him going that high is... I'm not a fan of it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does jump into that 40-goal stratosphere. But I don't think it's a guarantee. And you're drafting him as if it's a guarantee when it's not, because he's not a great peripheral stat guy. You're counting on those goals. I don't know if they come. So that's my bust. My gem, Juraj Slavkovsky, Montreal. This is where you take a potential guy. Bit later, this guy has fantasy breaking potential. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he reaches it, but if he hits his potential, this guy can break the fucking league. Like, 6'3", 230, can score, hit, everything. Like, this guy, if he hits his upside, this guy can break the fucking league in half.
Yeah.
So that's my gem. I almost kept him. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, I had a lot of good keepers, but I don't know why I didn't keep him. I mean, it's a potential league-breaking pick right there. My sleeper, Lucas Dostal. Good young goalie. Youth movement in Anaheim. Maybe they start to go with Dostal a little bit more.
They did last year already.
That's my sleeper pick.
Like I totally agree.
They already started.
I actually like your list a lot better. I don't really necessarily like the Wyatt Johnson thing. I think Wyatt Johnson's right where he should be, but I do like your Dostal and your Juraj picks because like Slafkovsky, I was sitting there and I was like, is he there? But that's the kind of guy he is. It's like, is he there? Like, can you pick him as a gem? But you did, and I like that because he's at that stage in his career. He's this is his third year now.
Third year, yeah.
Yeah, so Jack Hughes didn't get going until his third year as well. And totally different players, I'm saying. But, like, Slafkovsky last year, he started really rolling in the latter half of the season. And, like, things were like, okay, this guy is actually going to potentially be sick. You want to see it for one more year, but we could potentially be on the verge of a breakout. And I totally agree with you there. And then Dostal, go ahead.
Slafkovsky, it's not a guarantee that he hits his upside, obviously. But if he hits his upside, I mean, he'll wreak havoc on the fucking league.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dostal, like last year, Anaheim was going to Dostal way more than Gibson at times. Like, I think Gibson wasn't really performing, so they're going to go to Dostal. They want to win some games. Like, contrary to popular belief, like, the hockey teams like to win games. They just might not be good enough.
Yeah.
They just might not be good enough to win games, but okay. Next team, West Coast Express. Your boy Gator.
Gator needs a scat, you punk ass bitch.
Oh, Gator. For my gem, I'm going with Martin Nishas. I love this pick in the 7th round. How did he make it to the 7th round? I don't know. This guy is on the verge of a breakout. I'm loving it. 7th round. Last year he was ranked 77. This guy is, I think, primed to outshoot where he got drafted. I love that pick. That was the gem. My bust, Shea Theodore, in the 5th round. Holy shit! Like, come on, we got 2 seasons now of just awful fantasy numbers from Shea Theodore. Guys, this is worse than picking Morgan Riley in the 4th round. Shea Theodore is gonna get injured. When he's playing, he's good. Okay, cool. But really, if you look at his stats, if you look at his fantasy just output in his entire career, aside from a couple of seasons, it's not that great, guys. So Shea Theodore is my bust, 5th round pick. It happens every year, just like Morgan Riley. Shea Theodore is going to end up being on an IR somewhere on your team coming this spring. He plays for the Vegas Golden Knights. So Shea Theodore bust. There's countless information to show you that this was an awful pick, and you went and did it, Gator. Good on you. Sleeper, I got to go with Levi. Easy sleeper pick, Devin Levi. Drafted in the 10th round. They got 3 goaltenders there in Buffalo. I understand that. Devin Levi, if you listen to interviews from this guy, you kind of got this feeling that he's like that weird goaltender that's just, he's got the mentals. He knows how to understand the game. You know that Devin Levi eventually, and I think Buffalo's doing a good job at not getting this kid shelled, like, consistently. Like, they want to make sure that he's ready and ready to go. And I think this season is when you get like a half step, but we start seeing in the latter portion of the season, if he's still on a team, in the latter portion of the season, I can see him starting to take over. And I know they got Uka Dukin or whatever his name is, but I think there's potential for Devin Levi to take a step forward. Go ahead.
Is it bad that I have like 4 or 5 busts and like no real good gems?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Well, it's bad for a Gator. Good for the rest of the league.
For him. All right, I'm gonna go with Devin Taves as my bust. Great defenseman.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, great defenseman. Great at controlling the play in his own zone. But for an early round defenseman like that, he doesn't put up the numbers fantasy wise. So that's my bust. Like I said, I have a few busts on his team. Pause.
Huh.
Don't pause the podcast.
I know. I understand. I understand now. I was about to pause her too. No. Just kidding. I learned my lesson last time.
I'm gonna go Igor Sharangovich. This guy put up 30 goals last year. Late round guy, 30 goals. Could hit it again. I like the pick there late in the draft. For a gem, I'm gonna go Travis Konechny. I think Philly they'll be better, I think. And Konechny, all around everything kind of guy. Great player. I think he's got a fresh extension too.
Yep.
He's all the way good. Just a great player, great pick. That's gonna be my gem.
Shots on goal, holy! I'm just looking at his stat lines here. Like shots on goal, like 244 shots on goal last year. Like that's insane. Ranked 78, 33 goals, 35 assists. Like, yeah, I think he's a John Tortorella kind of guy, right? Right on.
Gotta love those Johnny Torty guys.
Next team, the Dust Show. The Dust Show, after his best year in the league, he made picks at the trade deadline, or he made trades at the trade deadline, made it to the playoffs, lost in round 1, right? I believe.
Yeah.
But he had a good team last year. So this year, less picks. We'll see how it goes. My gem. And I'm thinking he's ready for a nice breakout season. It was starting to happen last year. It kind of did happen last year, but I'm going with Quinton Byfield, 9th round. Nice little gem aspect to him. He's ready. He's a big body, and I think he's ready to kind of take that leap forward and be. You've seen it in him last year, and if he could stay healthy, I think this is going to be a great pick for the Dutch Show, because it's like I'm just trying to pick guys that are like they're on the cusp of just mastering this league of this fantasy league, not the NHL. When I'm talking about, we're going off of fantasy stats, and I think he can be that guy to break out. Bust. I picked his goaltenders as busts. He did not come out of this draft with goaltenders that are sure things. Both Lindgren and Decord were flash in the pan starting goaltenders last year. These guys are like, the year that the Hamburglar had a good season. Like, you know what I mean? These guys are not, Joey Decord and Charlie Lindgren are probably not starting goaltenders within the next 2 years or maybe even a year. So I am not happy.
Probably not.
I would not be happy if these are your 2 goaltenders and these are your only goaltenders. Those are my busts. Just the goaltenders. My sleepers, I got to do the Buffalo defensive core. It's either one is going to be good or both are going to be good. Owen Power and Bowen Byram, where he got him. So Power with the 12th and Byram with the 13th. Those are two risks I'm willing to take. We haven't seen Power as a fantasy crazy player yet, but I think it's still to come. And Byram, bearing injuries, hopefully everything's sorted out with that aspect. These could potentially be good sleeper picks. I think one's going to be awesome, and he'll be his keeper next year, but it could potentially be both. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to go bust first. Nick Ehlers, bust. We talk about all the skill this guy has. He just always leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
Now, this wasn't a terribly early pick for him, but it's just one of those guys. It's like, I mean, he has the skill.
So he's injured.
He's good. He's injured. He's inconsistent. You always want more out of Nick Ehlers than you get. And for that reason, I'm making him my bust. My sleeper, I'm going Adam Lowry. Winnipeg Jets center.
Yeah.
It's just
how did he How did he fall so low?
It's an unsexy pick. Everybody's trying to make sexy.
It's a Brock Nelson pick, kind of, right? I just don't know.
I was gonna compare him to that pick, where it's, I do this as well, where everybody wants to make that sexy pick of the draft. Sometimes it's just that unsexy
Adam Lowry
centerman.
Yeah.
And those guys will return value for you. So that's gonna be my sleeper. My gem, I'm picking your gem as well, Quentin Byfield. Another guy I had an option to keep this year. I didn't, but I think there's great things ahead for Quentin Byfield. I think he's only going to get better.
And at that ninth round, I'm surprised he fell so far, to be honest with you.
Like a young player who showed signs last year who's only going to get better. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an easy gem.
Pickle Peppers. This is where I started to kind of stop researching a little bit and just picking guys. So,
I've been doing that the whole time.
I know, but like I said before we went on the pod, I said I did admit it, guys. Actually, you know what? Yegs, do an ad read. We need an ad read.
Well, of course, we love an ad read from the sponsors of this podcast, the sponsors of this league. A&W, the best burger chain in the entire country, in the entire world. Right now, they got a deal for you. You go into your local A&W, you can get a team burger, or you can get a team burger with Ruffles chips inside the burger. I have personally had one myself. It's a game changer. You will never go back to anything else ever again. The A&W Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger. Go and get it right now. Whenever you're listening. If you're listening in the morning, wait till 11 a.m. and go get yourself a Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger from A&W, the sponsors of this show. Are we dropping the special announcement now?
I think we're going to tease it. So I forgot we should have started this podcast off with the little teaser. I don't want to announce it until the rep's here, right? It's his deal. Everything's his deal. Okay, but we'll tease it. So, boys, A&W's come through.
Now by saying we're teasing it right now, saying there's a special thing coming through.
It's just huge, though. It's actually the biggest thing this podcast has ever seen. This whole league. This is a big giveaway.
I know what it is. I will say, knowing what it is, go and eat A&W, support our sponsor.
Because like,
I had A&W for lunch today because I'm loyal to the brand.
yeah, what are you doing?
I am a brand guy.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
you gotta go in and support the A&W because we got this. Like, this is a massive giveaway. I can't give away the deets because we want our A&W's rep to be on. Plus, he hasn't totally run down the logistics. We know that it's happening, though. We know that it's a very significant prize. It'll be awarded at the end of the season, our regular season, or no, at the end of our playoffs. And it'll be performance-based, but even if you're shitty, you'll still have it's a draw system. He wants to make it a draw system. Our A&W rep is he's good, so he's working out the system. It's not, we haven't decided the curriculum. It's him. This is his thing, and A&W is supporting us, and we're just so proud to have A&W as our sponsors. And we can't wait to drop these deets. This is going to be a huge ticket item for everyone involved, and if you win it, this is a big one.
This is real, by the way.
Yeah.
I know you guys are thinking, "Oh, there's no way this is real." There is a real thing coming down the pipeline from our good friends at A&W that sponsor this podcast.
Yeah, like we're not just saying like, "Oh, go and grab a cheeseburger." Like this is big times, and yeah, we can't say anything more. Hoping talk to the A&W rep last week. And I told him that we tease it on this podcast, but I would love to have him on our next podcast. Even if he just wants to drop in, he's probably listening to the podcast now. Even if he wants to just drop in, release the deets, and then we'll be flexing these deets all season long for your chance. And then this is going to incentivize guys to just be starting their lineup every week. It's going to do good for the league, and it's going to do good for whoever wins this. And everyone will have a chance to win this. But it'll be performance-based. So, yeah. All right, on. So thank you for A&W sponsorship, and we'll continue on here. Next matchup is Pickled Peppers. I'm going to roll with my gem first. I'm going to take Josh Morrissey. Josh Morrissey is just that guy you want as your defender, your top defender. Season out. The guy is sick. He scores points. He hits. He does everything right. Taken with a second-round pick. I love Josh Morrissey. Just taking him as a gem. Just love to have him on your team. He's always getting points. Definitely leaves you satisfied. My bust is Brandon Montour. New team. Seattle is general. The team has just kind of seemed to, every time a player goes there, their fantasy value drops. You go from Brandon Montour 2 seasons ago. He was sick on the Florida Panthers. You go to next year, he's injured with the Florida Panthers. He does win the Stanley Cup, but that doesn't matter for fantasy. But Brandon Montour, he comes in, and it's new team, new system. And before that one big season that he had 2 years ago, really, what was he? I don't think he was a third-round pick, and so that's why I think he's my bust this year. I'd love for him to prove me wrong, but I live on the hill that Seattle Kraken, a player goes there, their fantasy numbers drop. So, especially compared to Florida. My sleeper, I'm going to take, I'm not going to lie, Pepper, there wasn't a whole lot that I liked on your team, but I'm going to just take Braden Schneider. I think he, as a 11th round pick, could be poised to take a step up in the New York Rangers depth chart, which is packed full, but he's a young guy, and you'd hope that he can, storm up. All right, go ahead, Yates.
My sleeper, I'll go with the sleeper first. I'm gonna go with Samuel Erson, Philly. Sleeper isn't if he secures that starting job, you got a starting goaltender for pretty late in the draft. He knows how the team does, but it starts. I mean, it means a lot having a goalie start a lot of games. For a gem, I'm gonna go Alex Barkov, late in the second round, but late in the second round. Elite, elite player, elite fantasy producer. Getting him with guys that probably should have gone later than him. Getting picked before him. Barkov, a great pick. Bust is the one I've left. Yeah. I had to go Montour as well.
Yeah. I think it's just
I don't buy it. I don't buy it in Seattle.
yeah. It's where he drafted him. I mean, it's just like even the contract he got this summer. When he signed that contract, I was like, oh, that's not a good one. And they also Seattle didn't they also sign Chandler Stevenson as well to a big contract? Like
Yeah, to not a great contract either.
yeah, like those are guys like yeah, they're good at what they were at one point, but I don't know. So next matchup.
Next team, you mean?
Yeah, oh, sorry, next team. Aho, let's go. My gem, I'm going to go with Owen Tippett. We're in a banger league, like I had mentioned. Owen Tippett was sick last year. Gets him in the 4th round. This is a classic Aho, let's go guy. This guy will end up performing to get Aho. You think Aho's got a shitty team this year? No. It's he doesn't have a shitty team. Let's just say that. But you think he's primed to be not as good as last year? No, he'll still be the top 2. And a guy like Owen Tippett's going to take the step forward, and he's going to be a top producer for fantasy. My bust. I'm going to go Mike Matheson. He had a great year last year. Power play 1. Scored a lot of points. Hit, fantasy darling. Just randomly, Aho has this Mike Matheson guy. Basically rides him all the way to the championship. Mike Matheson this year, Montreal's looking to take a step forward. They got Lane Hudson. They got a bunch of Gooley. They got a bunch of solid guys in Montreal looking to take a step up. Lane Hudson will end up probably eventually taking some of that role out of Mike Matheson. This is Mike Matheson we're talking about. Before last year, Mike Matheson was Mike Matheson. This is a classic case of maybe even like the guy I was just talking about, Brandon Montour, has one good season, stocks high. I'm picking Matheson as my bust. But I forgot where he drafted him was good, though. So I forgot that's why I took him off my bust. So I really didn't have a bust here. Shoot. Because I had my bust as Jack Eichel in the 2nd round, but I didn't want to do that because I looked at Jack Eichel and I was like, no, that's stupid. Why would I do that? So I'll just stick with Mike Matheson. I like my points. I don't mind where he drafted him, though, actually. It wasn't like he drafted him high. And then my sleeper is all the way down to the bottom, Michael Granlund. He was performed well with the San Jose Sharks, actually like a top 115 guy. You get him at the 16th round pick. You're probably going to see quite a few points out of Granlund, right wing center. But he could also be dropped, though. But I don't think he would be because San Jose is ready to make it jump up. And yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to go bust first as well. I'm going Bo Horvat. Just not the same guy on the island as he was in Vancouver. that goal scoring potential that he showed in his contract here in Vancouver is there in New York. So I'm gonna go bust Bo Horvat, pure center. I don't think he returns the value. My gem, a guy who will return the value, Nico Hischier. Guy is just all around great. Brings everything you ever want. The guy, he is going to outperform his draft position like crazy. So that'll be my gem, Nico Hischier. My sleeper, I'm going to go Anthony Stolarz. Leafs goaltender. Potentially starting goaltender on the cup-winning team. That's the guy you like to have. Wold is injury prone. I think Stolarz has a lot more of the net share than most people are counting on. And I think they'll work out in Aho's favor.
Yeah, you got to think. All these guys that Aho are taking, they're all going to be studs. Like, through and throughout. Like, every single one of them is just going to be an absolute stud. So, yeah. You're like, oh, Martin Pospisil, his rookie keeper. You're like, oh, what are you doing keeping that guy? No, he's going to be an absolute stud this year, based off of nothing. Anyways, that's just how Aho's team works. Was it fair? No, but it's just the way it is. Next guy, Mac O'Lantern. So the next three guys, really, 4 guys, they traded a lot of their picks away. These guys were contenders last year, so we're gonna be looking at a lot more deeper draft spots. Mac O'Lantern, gem, Arthur Sheloves, 15th round. He drafted him right before I had my pick, and I was pissed. I love this pick. This is an awesome pick. Even if Demko comes back, Shelov's still carrying 50% of the load. They're not going to overwork Demko. Shelov has looked great in the preseason. He looked great in the playoffs. Shelov's is a gem. 100%. 15th round pick. The guy's going to win the Vezina this year. 100%. Bust, Darcy Kemper, 6th round pick. The second pick the first pick of the draft that Mac O'Lantern made, all the way in the 6th round, there was multiple other goaltenders there that I thought were better. Darcy Kemper has shown that, maybe with LA he'll be better, who knows, but he didn't look great with Colorado when he was with Colorado. He did win the cup, but he didn't look great. And he looked awful with Washington, lost his job to Charlie Lindgren. Kemper with a 6th round pick, I just don't like it. And LA doesn't scream to me like a team that they could potentially miss the playoffs. And sleeper, Jack Quinn, 17th round. I like Jack Quinn as a sniper. And I think there's a lot of potential there. He's actually got a lot of sleepers because he picked so late that you could pick his whole, like a big chunk of his young guys that he picked at the bottom of the draft. But yeah, that's Mac Leonard.
So I'll go bust first. I'm also going to pick Darcy Kemper. LA is going to stink this year. You heard it here first. And Kemper's going to be part of the reason why. He's lost whatever he had.
In Arizona. It was all the way back in Arizona when he was sick.
Yeah, he was sick in Arizona. He was serviceable in Colorado, but that's all you needed to be in Colorado was serviceable. But this LA team, serviceable isn't going to cut it. Gem, I'm going with my boy, Darnell Nurse.
No way. Actually,
as much
I know. I know what you're gonna say. I understand it, and I understand it fully. I know what you're gonna say, and I agree.
As much shit as we give Darnell Nurse, He puts up a decent amount of points. He puts up a good amount of hits. He puts up a good amount of blocks. He always does well in fantasy, despite how bad he actually is. He does pretty well in fantasy. So that's my gem. My sleeper. I'm going Josh Norris. Josh Norris.
Really?
Like he was looking good, and then he got hurt.
Is he hurt again?
Is he hurt again?
I'm freaking pretty sure he's hurt again, dude. Like,
News. Let's go to news.
I'm pretty sure the guy's dead again.
No, he's not dead.
Okay, he's back? Okay.
If he, but I'll do it as a sleeper. If he remains not dead,
I thought I heard that
he
he was
should be
dead.
pretty good.
So maybe he's good. Okay, never mind.
If he remains alive, he'll be a good pick. That's. I scrolled through and I'm like, if he's healthy, he'll be good.
Yeah.
So that's a sleeper. That's why you pick. That's why he's a late round pick, because he's hurt all the time. But if he's healthy, he plays well.
I just got to touch on Darnell Nurse. So this is a classic case of the eye test compared to the fantasy stat line. Yes, Darnell hits. Yes, Darnell blocks shots. Yes, Darnell puts up points. Oh, Darnell, you are a good player. No, eye test, he's fucking awful. Fantasy, he's good. It's one of those things where it's like, but yes, Darnell Nurse, I agree, is a good pick for fantasy. And when we were on our live chat on the Discord during the draft, we all had a chuckle. But then right after we had our chuckle, we were like, he's a good fantasy player. Which is what we're here for.
Moving on to Sedina Limber.
Yeah, Sedina Limber. Gem. I'm just going to go Jonas Corpusalo. I have a feeling that Jeremy Swayman's going to be out for a long time. So you get Jonas Corpusalo, 7th round. Bust, Frederick Anderson in the 4th round. You got Kochetkov, who's also my bust. I got both Carolina Hurricanes goaltenders as busts. But Frederick Anderson, injury prone, could open the way for Kochetkov, who's also my bust. So basically, I'm saying that the goaltending situation in Carolina did not get any better. There's still lots of question marks. Freddie Anderson at a 4th round pick, I don't like it. Sleeper, I like Hampus Lindholm in Boston. He had a down year in fantasy last year, but the year before he was pretty sick. There wasn't too much for me to like about City and Limbo's team that, I was really too interested in. So I picked Hampus Lindholm because he's a 14th round. I think he's got good value there. Yeah. Go ahead.
This is the problem with these teams that have traded all their picks. It's like, I can find a sleeper. I really can't find anything else. So sleeper, I'm going to go with Scott Lawton.
Yeah.
From Philly. Another one of those greasy players. Greasy, good fantasy players where it's like he does a little bit of everything. He gets you into probably ends up between 100 and 150 as far as total points. Somewhere in that range. And that's good for how late he got him. Bust, I'm going to go Jonas Corpusalo. Just because I think he is complete ass. He's completely washed.
He played for Ottawa, though.
Yeah, but I still don't feel good about him. I don't like it. Great Jim, I really like Ryan Hartman.
Yeah, Ryan Hartman's sick.
We talk about
always drafted late and always sick.
Yeah. We talk about greasy good players. Ryan Hartman is greasy good.
Yeah. He was a keeper of mine at one time. He was the reason why I won a championship one time. Too. Ryan Hartman's sick, actually. I didn't look too much at Sedin and Limbo's roster, to be honest with you. It's bad. It's not good. It's awful.
He's got a lot of greasy good on his team.
He does, Hartman, and he had good keepers like that. Marks from keepers good. Gustav Forsling's
Evan
good.
Rodriguez, greasy good. Scott Lawton, greasy good.
It's true. But you know what? It reminds me of my team last year where I had a lot of greasy good guys on my team last year, but I had no top tier aspects other than a couple of guys that I ended up trading away, like Kaprizov and stuff. It just reminds me of that, whereas I didn't have enough oomph. And that's where Sedin and Limbo is, I think. I don't think he's a playoff team. Sorry, unfortunately, might lose our AW sponsorship over it, but Sedin and Limbo.
Gotta tell the truth.
You gotta tell the truth.
Big business.
That's how we got that sponsorship in the first place, was telling the truth. So, I mean, Larry Love, another guy traded a bunch of picks away.
On to Larry.
Yeah. This one, I really breezed through this one, and I expect you to do the same. Jam, I just got Patrick Kane. I think for a 5th round pick, I think Patrick Kane doesn't look like he's going to lose a step this year. He looks good preseason. Still Patrick Kane. He's had surgeries and things are looking good. I don't think Patrick Kane's. I think he's right where he's supposed to be drafted. So I think it's a gem. Marchizzo is my bust. Jonathan Marchizzo. Got a big contract, Nashville. He's getting older. I think he kind of just fit that Vegas greasy ass shitty team. Vegas is just a greasy team. They cheat the system. They do everything greasy. Marchessault is a diver. He's got the most dives in the NHL. The last since the NHL dives account on Instagram has been tracking it. He's the perennial diver of the league. This guy's a greasy guy. I think on a smaller market team like Nashville, he doesn't get away with it. And he got his contract, and I for a 4th round pick, I think Marchizzo, he's getting older too. So I think it's not looking good for Marchizzo. Leo Carlsson is my sleeper. Another Anaheim guy here is Leo Carlsson, and 15th round pick. Take a stab at Leo Carlsson. I would at a 15th. One of these Anaheim senders is going to do good, and it could very well be Leo Carlsson this year.
All right. Well, I'll go. My bust. I am picking your gem as my bust once again.
I just picked. I'll admit it. I just picked one.
Patrick Kane, the sauce is gone. It's his draft position gets inflated because it's a name we all know and love, Patrick Kane. Unless you're a Buffalo cab driver, then you don't love that name. But he's nowhere close to the same guy he was. And that happens, but we're trying to win a league this year, 2024, 2025. I don't think Patrick Kane's the best 5th round pick that you can make. Jam? Not a lot of options. I know Teuvo Teravainen.
Oh, yeah?
I think if he will most a pretty good chance of him playing with Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
Less than 0% chance. And if Bedard takes that next step and Teravainen's on the line with him, Teravainen can have a big year from lay around guy. That's what you like. Sleeper, I'd go JT Compher as a. I've been picking a lot of greasy guys as my sleepers. I think JT Compher could be one of those greasy guys.
Center, left wing, right wing. Could fit in your lineup anytime you want.
All three positions, yeah. Just a greasy guy that does a little bit of everything. And that's, as a late round pick, he probably ends up dropping him. Let's be completely honest.
He might have already dropped him. like this is just a draft list. You know what I mean? It could have already been dropped. Yeah. No, okay.
That's my sleeper pick. I'm not dealing with a lot that I like here, to be completely honest.
No. It's
and I'm trying to pick different guys than you.
Yeah. No, you're doing a good job. There's
especially when I go second.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I'm looking at who everybody is drafted.
Yeah. I got the first picks. So you've been doing good because like there's only been a couple times where you're like, okay, well I gotta take the same one as you because it was just a banger of a pick, right? Okay, talking opposites of bangers of picks. This roster, ladies and gentlemen,
what do we do here?
Ladies and gentlemen of the Burger Boys, National Worldwide Association, whatever we call ourselves, we here have this team. We saved the best for last. It was the best team. It's the best team, right? Yeah, like I'm giving A+ for effort.
A++.
Rototiller. Yes, yours truly, the Rototiller. The man, the myth, the legend, the number one. He's the number one fan of the Burger Boys. He's everyone's favorite celebrity. I mean, you see him out at Verdant Vipers games all the time. He's just, he's always having a good time. He's always drunk.
We're his favorite celebrities.
Yeah. Well, like he's our favorite celebrity, and we're also his. So it's like it's and then he's got he's got Uncle Ronnie in the league now. So this year he's happy about it, right? One thing he's not happy about, most likely, but you know what? He's probably still happy about it. So I think we're gonna do a little special on Rototiller's team, and we're gonna actually list Rototiller's draft one by one. Okay? You agree? Okay, so with the first pick, I don't know the rounds. I'll just I can just mention I don't even know when he picked him. So okay, whatever. With his first pick of the draft, Tristan Jarry from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Unreal. Like that's just stellar. Luke Hughes. All right, that's all right. I mean, that's all good. Carol Veggie Milkers, friend of the pod,
friend of the show.
Alex Nedeljkovic. So he's got the tandem in Pittsburgh. Great tandem to have. Yeah. All right. Justin Falk. Gabriel Vilardi. Vincent Trocheck was a keeper. So clearly the best of these names was Vincent Trocheck. Face-off wizard. This guy is everything. Yeah, he's good. Cam York, nice young defenseman out of Philadelphia. Ricard Raquel, a washed right wing out of Pittsburgh. Alex Iafallo, average center, left wing, right wing out of Winnipeg. We got Cam Fowler, pretty much a wash defenseman out of Anaheim. Ivan Barbashev, waiver wire fodder from 2020 to 2024. He's always on the waiver wire. Ivan Barbashev. Alex Lyon.
Yeah, I will say, I have picked up Barbashev
Oh,
before.
yeah.
He's love to have him on your roster for a couple days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's good waiver wire fodder out of Ivan Barbashev. Alex Lyon, at one point last year, he was a good goaltender. Might be again. Who knows? Pavel Mintukhinov, or whatever his name is, from Anaheim. He was all right for certain stretches, right? Last year, I think.
He was okay.
Yeah. Jake Neighbors. This might be a guy. He's actually a young, kind of up and coming guy out of St. Louis. I believe he's a bit of a banger guy. If I stand corrected, I think so. Philip Grubauer. Hopefully he starts. Nikita Zadorov. Someone had to take him. And JJ Moser from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Just this roster is phenomenal.
It's not good.
Dude, I don't know. I think he's going. I think he's going to the finals. He doesn't even have a nucleus to like trade away. There's no one that to rebuild our like last year. At least we had guys like you traded away Draisaitl. I traded away Kaprizov. Like, you know what I mean? We had guys to trade away you know what I mean? To get picks. He's got one guy here. And that's Vinny Trocheck. And that's his keeper, his one keeper.
I will propose a thought experiment here. How many players on this roster do you think will still be on Rototiller's team by week 5? So that gives you a month into the season.
So
how many players do you think are still here?
The Pittsburgh tandem will still be there because obviously there's value in having a tandem. Luke Hughes will still be on the roster. Vinny Trocheck.
You think the tandem's there?
Probably, what are we, 18?
I would
probably say 6 out of 18.
I was going to set the over-under at 3.5.
Oh. He already was trying to offer me a trade, Vincent Trocheck for my Dougie Hamilton. And I don't want to do a trade preseason. I was intrigued. Vincent Trocheck's a stud. He really is. Face-off wizard. But I also don't want to shore up my defense. So he's clearly ready to trade Vincent Trocheck right off the hop.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Yeah, so all right, so my
do we
Oh yeah.
Do we pick
Yeah, oh yeah. I'll go first. My gem, friend of the show, Karel Veggie Milkers, baby. I picked both Utah goaltenders. I got kind of a bit of a hard on for Utah this year. I think they're going to be better than people think. I think they got a new city. They got a bit of an arena there. I think they might make the playoffs. I think life's good for the Utah Soakers. And I'm picking the friend of the show, Karel Veggie Milkers. That's a tandem I would have rather have was Ingram and Veggie Milkers over Tristan Jarry and Nedeljkovic. But I'm liking Veggie Milkers. That's Rototiller's gem. Bust. Unfortunately, I gotta say it. I'm taking Luke Hughes as the bust. Not saying that he's gonna be a bust in real life. For an 8th round pick, I don't think Luke Hughes is quite there yet. And I don't think he's quite there yet next year, but I think the year after, he's going to be quite there yet. I'd like to be Eaton Crow. I like the Hughes brothers. Big fan, obviously. But at an 8th round pick, when you need to start picking good like veteran guys to take a chance on Hughes here, I don't think it was a good call for Rototiller. He's also injured for like 6 to 8 weeks to start the season. Sleeper, I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. JJ Moser, Tampa Bay Lightning. JJ Moser looked great with the Arizona Coyotes. Rest in peace. And I think he takes a step up, filling in for a bigger role on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Go ahead. Who do you got, right? Like who? How? I could replace over half of these guys, I think, with guys that are in free agency right now. Seriously. I'm fucking serious.
I'm gonna go Gem. I'm gonna go Pavel Mintyukov.
Okay.
Just as it's a potential pick. The guy has a lot of potential. He showed flashes his rookie year last year.
Yeah.
If he takes that next step, he could be a real guy.
He could be a real guy.
Oh. Could be a real guy. I'm trying to be nice here.
Yeah, I know. It's brutal.
Sleeper, I'm going to go Alex Lyon.
Yeah.
If he commands a fair share of the starts, not like Cam Talbot's the biggest obstacle to overcome as far as starting goaltenders go. So I'm going to go Alex Lyon as my sleeper. And as my bust, I'm going to go the rest of the team.
Perfect. Except for Vinny Trocheck. which Vinny Trocheck will be traded in probably before the puck drops in New York.
Fuck.
Yeah, brutal. Absolutely brutal. Rototiller. You know what though? The guy somehow finds a way to make the playoffs every year. Do I think it's going to happen this year? No, not a fucking bad chance. It's done. But you know what? We love the effort.
Right now.
It's not looking good. And you know what? We know that Rototiller is going to be trying. And Rototiller is going to keep trying. And he's probably going to win a couple games this year. He's going to win maybe a couple lottery beer cans this year, maybe. Because he was always going to put his foot forward. He's going to be hitting that waiver wire every day. It's going to be a little bit of a rough year, but you know what? You got to love it. Got to love it.
Fuck, this team is so bad.
I think he's never not made the playoffs, though, right?
No, yeah, he's never not made it.
Yeah. So, it's in jeopardy this year.
He's we put to the test.
All right.
He's
Okay.
put to the test.
We're already at 2 hours and 8 minutes. Let's just breeze through these first round matchups. Just go over them, and then we'll mention what we're doing this year with rivalry weeks, right? Okay, week one.
It's too much to
What's that?
say. It's not too much really to preview on the matchups. It's just kind of
Yeah.
who's playing who.
Okay, so Jaromir Jagr, McElantern taking on the starting champ. McElantern's already at -2 on the week already, but we won't go over points or anything right now because it's just been two games, two silly games. But yeah, Jaromir Jagr versus the defending Cup champion McElantern for week one. Aino Regreskis versus Dasho. Dash won in his inaugural season versus keeper Hardly Knower. Oilers fan versus his favorite player, Connor McDavid. Mariners Millions versus Bows and Hoes. Be an interesting one there. West Coast Express versus Pickle Peppers. Two playoff teams, lower bracket playoff teams facing off again in week one. Larry Love versus Flyhammer. Flyhammer's first game versus Larry Love. We'll see how that works out. Rototiller versus the Dirty Dancers. Yeah. Dirty Dancer should be a lot better this year. He did have a good draft. Sedin and
Should be a lot
Limber.
better than Rototiller.
Yeah, 100%. Sedin and Limber versus Aho Let's Go. And I will mention points in this one. Because somehow, some way, Aho Let's Go is already off to an absolute commanding lead against the whole entire league at 73.5 points. Aho Let's Go has been researching these two games in Prague, I guess, since basically they were announced, and made sure that his team had ample amount of weapons in these two games, because he's already at 73.5 versus Sedin Limber's 24.5. Before Jake Allen was announced as the backup or whatever a couple days ago, I was like looking at him and I was like, holy shit, like Aho literally drafted him with his last pick of the draft because he knew this was a back-to-back. Like, who does that?
Aho.
It's insane. You know, fantasy hockey season's back the moment you notice that Jake Allen was drafted to Aho's team because he knew that the New Jersey Devils were starting with a back-to-back. So easy W for Aho. Let's go. Okay. So, boys, we're doing a little different this year. Not a little different. We've done it in the past. But week 2, starting week 2, we got rivalry.
As well as,
yeah.
let's say week 2 as well as week 16.
We got rivalry
Our
week.
rivalry weeks.
So this is where all this is where all the beans are. You want to? We've matched you up with guys that you're. We want to say are your rivals, right? We got the new guys versing off in week 2. We got family members going off. We got friends going off. We got guys that were in the finals together last year going off. Everyone's just going off on each other. Everyone's going off on each other. Rivalry week 2.
I was gonna say, we got guys who hated other guys in high school going off against each other.
Yeah, week 16.
You better bet I added that in.
Yeah. We got...
so look forward to those weeks. We encourage side bets on those weeks. Obviously.
I mean, if you want to put a little money down on it versus it should be a good one. But it should be fun.
The schedule got a little messed up off of that, off of putting those weeks in. So there's some weird stuff going on with the schedule. I tried to space it. If you play a guy twice, I tried to space it out best I can.
Yeah.
It's not always perfect. You're not going to play the same guy 2 weeks in a row. I made sure of that.
Yeah.
But the rivalry weeks, we're going to try it out again this year. If it's something people want, we'll keep doing it.
I think the one year that we did do it, people enjoyed it, but it's just a little bit of a screw around to make a schedule, because it's easy to just go off Yahoo's schedule, but it's easy to go off you got to bear with us, and I don't think anyone would care if you got to play a guy twice in a 4-week span, right? You got to play everyone twice, or you got to pay half the league twice anyways. So, I mean, rivalry week.
I tried to space it out the best I could.
But it's definitely not going to be how, and I think it's more interesting that way, where it's not like you play week 1 and that means week 17 you're playing that guy again. It's going to be totally different.
There is a bit of that, but I try to space it out a bit.
Yeah. Right on. So that's rivalry weeks. I guess the last thing to do, Yags, is just a quick puck to Oku to end the pod.
Trying to do it.
All right, we got our weekly Puck Doku matchup. Okay. Yags, or I guess I got to go first. Let's go with.
We gotta explain the rows.
Oh yeah, go for the rows. Yeah, for
Explain
the
the
guys
rows,
listening
everyone.
at home. I mean, if you're watching, like this shit's all viewable to watch now, boys. All the podcasts are going to be up on Spotify. I might even start uploading them to YouTube. Who knows? I know Andre made a YouTube account a while ago, so I'll maybe eventually get these up on YouTube's, but for you guys to watch. But definitely can watch it on Spotify. I forgot to mention that again, because like there's still people that were like, "Oh, you can watch them now." So I was like, "Yeah." So, yeah, go for it, Eggs. Explain the vertical rows.
So on the horizontal, we got St. Louis, the Blues, Tampa Bay Lightning, and American Hockey League. So just had to have played in the AHL. On the vertical, we got the Edmonton Oilers, we got the Carolina Hurricanes, we got the Dallas Stars.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna take one from you. I'm gonna go Oilers, AHL, Devin Dubnyk. .5.
Not bad, not bad.
I knew you were gonna have a spicy one in there, so I had to take.
I was gonna have
I had to take one away.
I was gonna have a fucking banger.
Oh, you were gonna have just
for
some
that one.
random ass person in there.
Oh, you've ruined my whole game. I know why you wanted to go first so bad.
Well, no, you went first last time, so that's why I did it.
Sure,
Yeah.
I did.
Well, I just seen the Oilers and the AHL because I just was. But you know what? I'm surprised Devin Dubnyk was only 0.5%. I thought it was gonna be like 5%.
I mean, there's a lot of options there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that route is pretty open.
And you go Dallas, St. Louis, and I go to a friend of the show, Roman Turek.
Hey, 3%. I'm gonna go Dallas AHL Matt Murray, but not the Matt Murray that played for the Penguins. Matt Murray that played for the Matt Murray. Yeah, that one. Matthew Murray.
Yeah, they put it separate. It's nice that they put Matthew for that one.
Yeah.
Makes it easier. I was almost gonna pick the wrong one.
Yeah, I know. They didn't give him a photo, eh?
No, guess not. I'm gonna go Edmonton, Tampa. I'm gonna go Slater, Kukik, Koak.
Okay. I want to go. Oh, did he play for Tampa? Oh. No, I don't know if I want to do that one. I don't think he played for Tampa. But I feel like he did. Yeah, let's go Tampa, Dallas, Trevor Daley. No, shit, he didn't play for
Incorrect.
Tampa. Frick, I thought he played for Tampa.
Where do I want to go here? I had a good one. I forgot it. Fuck. Let's go with Dallas, Tampa, Mike Smith.
That's an easy one. Oh, really? It was only 5%? I was thinking of that, and
Well,
then
I
I was
think
like, oh, that
everybody-
would be like a 25%er. But there's also Brad Richards,
I
too.
figured everybody would go Edmonton, Tampa. Mike Smith.
Okay, I want to go Carolina. I believe his name is Jarrett Stahl. The Stahl brother that no, it's not. I think it's like Jarrett. Oh, yeah, Jarrett. Okay. Yeah, 1%, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, it's Jared Stahl. That's a great one.
1%.
Where do I want to go from here? I'm going to rip it. I'm not sure about it. I'm going to go Shane Corson.
You got it.
Oilers, St. Louis.
Shit.
I wasn't entirely sure if he played for St. Louis.
I'm actually kind of struggling here.
We only have one guess left, and it's yours. So
I know, because I fucked one up, right?
you did get one wrong.
Yeah, and I'm drawing blanks here. I'm not like, I don't know like Carolina and St. Louis. Like, it's not like my thing.
Oh, I just remembered my one that I had. It's kind of obvious, but I just remembered it.
What, Jake Ensel? That wouldn't even count, I don't think.
No. Not telling you it.
I want to go with man. I don't know, man. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna pass. I just can't think
All
of
right.
one.
Well,
right
I'm
now.
just gonna pump in John Graham for Carolina, Tampa Bay.
Oh, you got her, buddy. That's who I was thinking of. I was like, there was a goaltender because he went to the finals with Tampa Bay, right, and with Carolina, right? Wasn't he the backup to Cam
I
Ward?
think he was the backup both times.
Yeah.
think he was
That's why
backup
I
both
kept on
times.
thinking about those two Stanley Cup finals, and I was like, what was the correlation between them? And I remember it was John Graham. You're right. Do you got a guy
That
for
was
the
the guy.
Blues Hurricanes? Did they make trades? Have they ever made a trade?
I was almost gonna say Keith Primo, but I'm not sure if he played for St. Louis. Because there's a weird thing where, like, I think Brindamore played for St. Louis, and at some point,
Rod the Bod?
wait,
Rod the Bod?
Rod
played
the
for-
Bod, I think he played for St. Louis,
No, did he? Really?
if I remember correctly.
Oh.
Oh no, fuck, Brendan Shanahan.
Shanahan played for the Hurricanes or the Hartford?
He played for Hartford.
Oh, okay. Way
Oh,
early
yes,
in-
Chris Pronger as well. That
Oh yeah, Chris Pronger would have worked. You gotta think Hartford. That's crazy. What's his most? What's the uniqueness? Like, or what's the ticket items on that? The highest ticket item.
on Carolina, St. Louis.
Yeah.
Justin Falk is the
that's
highest
the
one.
obvious one. Yeah. Doug Waite,
Oh, Shanahan second.
Rod Brindamore. You're right. Paul.
Rod
Stastny.
Brindamore, Doug Way would have been great.
Buddy, it was Joel Edmondson, Ian Cole. I guess he's been around the league.
Shoot, see if Keith Primo's in here. I could have sworn he played for.
Keith the Coin.
I guess not. Good thing I didn't guess that then.
That was a tough one. Blues, Carolina. Really, it was tough.
Oh man, the most guessed Oilers in AHL is Jack Campbell.
Oh, tough look, eh?
Tough look.
Everyone's like guessing all these easy ones, eh? Oh, yeah, I guess Hurricanes Tampa is Recchi. I guess.
I had no idea Mark Recchi played for Tampa. Actually, no, I'm picturing it now.
I remember.
Thank you for listening to the Burger Boys Fantasy Network. Catch us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.